think we should be good now. So, Mouse, you lead Zian back to the mouse nest. And Jax, are you doing that thing where like you're in the corner like leaning up against a wall with your arms crossed? Yeah, of course.
Wow, I'm so cliche.
Listen, I actually talk about this sometimes with other people who ask me questions about GMing. I said, dude, use every single stereotype and trope you possibly can, because it literally it improves your game so much more because everybody knows exactly what you're talking about and what you're looking at when you say it.
Tropes are basically shorthand. Like I prefer it in character design too.
Absolutely.
It's definitely like something that like everybody kind of gravitates towards.
Like,
there's a reason the monomyth exists.
Right, yeah. Like if I say righteous paladin, immediately everybody thinks of like a dude in like heavy armor with a sword and like he's all religious. Like everybody immediately has that same image basically in their mind.
I think it's Zian with a hammer.
Right, exactly. And yeah, it's just, I mean, everybody has
a vibro hammer.
Yeah,
vibro hammer.
Ooh. What's the point of a vibro hammer?
I don't know, but it's Star Wars, so you gotta add vibro to every melee weapon.
Every melee weapon can have a vibro variant, obviously.
Vibro nunchucks?
Yes. Vibro
it's
chucks.
Just like the whole point of the vibro
is to make it cut better.
Make it cut better, but
yeah, but you have a hammer that cuts and smashes.
Yeah, it's great. Perfect. Seems fantastic.
Vibro katana? No, that's a vibro sword.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Vibro sword shaped like a katana.
Yeah. Anyway, so Jax is in the corner, arms crossed, kind of like watching the scene as it unfolds. I picture Kin like sitting on a chair, like maybe like elbows on knees, like kind of head down, like trying to psych himself up for this.
Well, you would think that, but he's just standing straight.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you're doing the like stand straight up, looking straight ahead.
Yeah, his head is slightly down, but he glances up the moment Zian walks in the door.
Yeah, so Mouse comes in, opens the door, opens up, right, and Mouse kind of walks in and like gestures for Zian to walk in. Zian, you enter the room.
Yeah.
Don't you have to like go down a ladder to get? I don't remember the ship's layout, but I think you have to go down a ladder into the engineering bay.
Well, there's probably a ladder that you go down, and then there's an elevator too, probably somewhere. But then there's probably a door. It doesn't really.
Can you excuse me 1 sec? I hate to be that guy, but I might have to let plumbers in.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh,
what a dick. God.
So,
like to your heart, or
so Dash.
Sorry, I don't know why I found that so funny.
So Dash, you're sitting on the bridge, and you hear gunfire and explosions coming from engineering.
What? I rush for engineering.
I'm just kidding. It was a joke. I doubt there will be gunfire and explosions.
You were saying?
But RK probably comes up to you, Dash, and he probably like sits down next to you. We'll say you're in the in the cockpit or whatever. Probably sits down next to you, and he kind of like kicks his feet up and puts his hands behind his head and folds them together, and he's like, "Well, my boy, I think that we're almost through with this."
Sorry about that.
Oh, I was about to speak. Okay, can't mess me up. Check it. But I don't know. It got a hell of a lot more complicated.
And when is it not, my boy?
But now we have to help these guys be friends, and I don't know if I want either of them to be friends because I don't trust. What was that corporation again? I keep forgetting.
Janus.
I don't trust Janus.
Yeah, and he probably says, he's like, take it from an old soldier. Friends will always fight with each other, but these two will make it through. I think you've got a good crew here, boy. You should hold on to them.
It's just like, I don't know what to think. It's like, if you said I will actually Jedi. He kind of like says Jedi in quotations because as I said, he kind of like I kind of established that he has heard about Jedi for stories and stuff
Yeah.
while being a child, and just this kind of thing like triggers like, oh, so I guess I know one of sorts because Zan is not like those Jedi. He's kind of like a remnant of sorts. But it's like he's kind of like questioning the fact that like the remnants of the past are coming back to the future, and he's kind of like in the middle of it, of a age-old war that has been fought for like millennia.
Yeah.
And now he's kind of like, this is interesting. Like he can't help. He can't like. He doesn't know what the Empire and the Jedi were like. He just knows Jin and Cyan, two people that are just their sort of was the product of like conflicts of interest, and he's just like he couldn't say like let's forget about it, but he can't really reprogram Kin, or in a sense I think it like he thinks like Kin would even be even more mad at him because he's trying to be human. Like
yeah, and I think RK.
Oh,
I think I think RK, like when you say that, because again we're just in conversation here.
Yes.
When you say that, RK just kind of laughs and he's like, "Ha! It doesn't matter what they look like, boy. Force users will always exist in the galaxy. Have I ever told you the story about a student of mine?" And he begins to like kind of go off on a tangent, and it's a story you've probably heard 300 times before. But he continues to basically just tell you the story and bore you to death. But you're a good pupil, and you don't want to interrupt or ignore RK at any point, right?
Okay, so and when he's telling a story, he says, "RK."
Yeah, you interrupt him, I guess, and he goes,
No, I let him finish. I'm not gonna interrupt him.
"Oh, I was gonna use that to transition."
Oh, because I was gonna bring up something.
Yeah, well, what would you say then?
Well, this past week has got me to thinking about other things like meeting Cyan and what was that technician's name? Jorg or something?
Jarrell.
Jarrell.
Yeah.
And it's like he says like it's funny how this force, this magic goes all around us, and even hell, one of the technicians that apparently like I don't know how he's involved, but apparently he was fixing the same limo speeder you were using back when we were, let's say, taken for a few days. But it makes me think if they're around us and everyone has this unique ability like make sync, would somebody be gifted and not know about it? Like, having a gift that you didn't know where it came from.
Yeah, and I think RK, for a long moment, thinks, and then he kind of nods and he says, I think that's how it happens mostly nowadays. People can just do incredible things, and they're not sure how or why. Perhaps they're particularly empathetic towards others. Perhaps they could even fly a ship better than others.
And he kind of like just exhales, kind of like in that like smirk exhale. Like, imagine if actually this force was helping me in a way. Maybe it's helping everyone. Maybe even more.
I think you see a twinkle come to RK's eye, and he says, "Yes, didn't you even listen to my story, boy? Fine, I'll tell it to you again." And he begins to go on with the same story again, emphasizing the important points.
Yeah, it's like he kind of like says he kind of like thinks to himself like, well, I fell right into that. And as we transition,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you just smile and nod, like, yeah, yeah, okay. So we see Zian. You enter the. I imagine all engineering bays are pretty dimly lit, just because that's just always how I imagine them. But
kind of, I picture the engineering bay from Firefly.
yeah. That's
maintaining an engine.
Exactly. So the two desperados stand across from each other. Who speaks first?
You speak first, or I speak first? Well, I don't know if you want me to roll something right away, or
It's up to you. Do you think that just the vision of Zian would trigger your programming or not? Or do you think that it would require like specific conversations on the topic?
I think I think that after now that I've heard the word Jedi directed at him, I think that would be in, I would know that already, so I might trigger it right away.
Okay. So upon the image of Zian walking in, why don't you make me a discipline check?
Okay.
It's gonna be a hard. It's
a light side point.
It's a good idea. Go ahead and send them over to me. You have plenty, for Christ's sake.
too much.
Okay, let me add that upgrade there. Upgrade to your check. All right, whenever you're ready, go ahead and make the roll.
Ooh, all right.
Yep.
Hey. So I think appropriately take 3 strain here. Like all that is just strain, right? Like we see like little electrical smoke like rising from circuits along Kin. But you succeed, and you don't. I wouldn't say you defeat your programming in this moment, but at least like until something else triggers it, you can probably overcome it, right? So like until like a force power is used, right, or like a visible one, right, or until like the specific conversation comes up again, but at a later time, right? Like you could talk about it right now and you'd be okay because you passed, but when later on somebody like on the street talks about it, it might trigger you again. But for now, you've succeeded. You're not gonna reach out and try and crush Zian's throat.
All right.
With taking the strain, I have an image of like the scientist from Doctor Strangelove.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
must not attack Jedi.
Yeah, exactly.
Zian just kind of looks and kind of like cocks his head and like, did something happen?
Yeah, I'm sorry about last time. There's something that wants me to attack you, but I think I can control it.
Zian kind of like cocks his head the other way. I thought droids had to obey their programming.
Well, I technically have no masters anymore, so it was logical for me to reprogram myself. But this was something different. This was maybe more of a hardware issue than programming.
I kind of like raise my hand to my chin, as like, I was not aware that was possible, and kind of you get the sense that things might be being perceived differently.
I do not think that my original owners ever thought there was a possibility that they would not exist anymore. There was a gap in their programming that allowed me to fix myself.
So are you good forever?
I don't know. I hope so. But you have my permission to deactivate me, or Mouse, you have the permission to help him as well if I become a problem for you.
Well, hopefully that situation won't arise again.
Indeed.
Indubitably. Sorry.
Cool. So, Mal, so you do a thing where you're kind of like standing in between, just like looking between the two of them, making sure everything is cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
do you say anything, or what are the thoughts in your head during this moment?
I'm hoping everything works out fine. Like, I don't have any like particular like big thought at the moment.
Are you
mostly
proud of Kin for not giving in to the programming this time?
I mean, I'm always proud of Ken for everything that he does, but I mean, Mouse knew Ken could get over this. Like,
Yeah.
Ken is her friend, and Ken has been with her for a long time, so she knows this is just a temporary roadblock.
And what about you, Jax, sulking in the corner?
I take offense to the word sulking. Maybe musing. Musing might
Musing
be a
in the
better
corner?
word.
Okay. Musing in the corner.
Now Jax has just been watching this whole thing happen. Yeah, he doesn't really have any input. He was there to help in a certain situation that hasn't come up, so he's just kind of watching.
So I think that the with that hurdle overcome for now, it's probably about time to really decide on what the group of you wants to do. I think it was mostly decided last time that in whatever way you can, you kind of wanted to help the Zul'Zan alliance, or at least broker a peaceful negotiation here so nobody else had to get hurt. For your own benefit of getting RK out of trouble, right? Even if it was just simply going and explaining, like, so I think you have a couple of options. First of all, you could contact the Zul'Zan Alliance, let them know, hey, we're willing to negotiate on your terms, give us what your terms are, we'll bring it to Janice. You could try and go to Janice, like, you guys yourselves could go to Janice and be like, hey, listen, RK's our friend, he had nothing to do with it, and you could honestly, like, sell out the Zul'Zan, right? You could be like, hey, we know where their base is, or at least we have an idea where their base is. And then let it kind of play out all in itself, because that would clear RK's name, right? Like, if you trade RK's wanted level for information on Zul'Zan, that's absolutely 100% an option. I don't think it's one that you guys want to take, or a couple of you, depending on your affiliations. Or you could just figure out some other way to do it, right? You could scope out the Janus Corporation. You could, do whatever you want with it. But I think it's probably time that the group has a solid meeting, perhaps, on what the next step is here, because I think that's a little bit unclear as it stands. So
Yep.
Perhaps the group of you now not trying to kill each other, and perhaps all of the secrets laid to bear, at least on Zian's side. We see you all sitting in the cantina or the mess hall of your ship, right? And you're all sitting around a table, and there's probably different types of whatever the replicator on the ship could make, or the refresher. That's what it's called in this world.
Star Trek.
Yeah, I know.
Refreshers are toilets.
Yeah.
Can I please not eat from the toilet?
That's
It's
not
so
always
clean
true,
when you
though,
need
right?
it. No,
Star Wars doesn't have any replication type technology. All food is physical.
Yeah.
So your rations.
Yeah.
Rations, yes.
I just need another R word. The group of you are sitting around a table, and you are. The time has come to kind of discuss what's going on. So, who takes the lead there? Like, who lays out the options that you have available to you? Does anyone have a suggestion, and does the group just go with it? Who speaks first, I guess? Okay, good.
Hey, what are we gonna do about this arcade thing?
Cool. I think I look to Dash. Kind of left it in his hands last.
Yeah, that is kind of what happened. So I guess there is a question of like Dash. They all kind of look to you to solve to choose a direction here. Did you make a decision at any point?
I mean, the thing is, I said that we could help them, but now looking at the things like, he kind of like thinks for a moment. I was kind of like, I understand that Zulzan might be the better side, but question is, why are we helping them? As in, why are we trying to be middlemen? We don't have interest in that. It's just like helping Zulzan to then have leverage. I mean, is there another way? Like, could we possibly? I don't know. It's like we're trying to be middlemen just to get a leverage over something that we could potentially do ourselves if we find the tools. But it's like, I don't know if we're even equipped for that.
As I understand it, we're helping Sulsan so that we do not have to help the bad guys.
Well, we're still being a middleman for both them and Janice, so in a way we're also helping Janice. No, wait. Wait, what? What did Zuzan want? Land?
So
Safe havens?
the terms of the deal are they would return their prisoner for a contractual agreement that because Janus Corporation owns a lot of like low income apartment complexes and a lot of like the mom and pop restaurants in the area surrounding their casinos they own that they extort for protection money by via way of raising the lease and adding it to like lease contracts, and same with the apartment complexes. Essentially their little patch of the galaxy, they own all of it and the people inside of it and can legally extort money from them because those people are so despot they don't really have anywhere else to go, right? Like trying to get a shuttle off the planet is still going to be more difficult because you'd have to leave everything that you know behind. Trying to find a different area of the city to live in is a little bit harder.
Right, so, breathing space, I remember.
Yeah. So in order to kind of like a contractual agreement with Janus to essentially stop all of that nonsense, they know that they're not going to like run them out of town, right? Like they know that they're not going to shut down the casino and all that stuff, but they want Janus to get their fingers out of all of the other things besides the casino business. In exchange for the prisoner that they have.
Well, I guess when you put it that way, it's kind of noble, but it's like, yeah, I guess we're technically helping the Zulzan, not Janus. But it's like dealing with them is just
and so like the thing,
a bad taste in Dash's mouth.
The thing about Janus that you need to understand too is that they are honorable in the sense that at least the Zulzan Alliance believes they would honor a contract of this nature, right? Like the Zulzan Alliance wouldn't come to Janus if they thought that Janus were just gonna be like, no, screw you, right? Like keep him or whatever else. But no, they truly believe that Janus would honor this sort of contract.
Go with that option, and in a way, that's the safest way, I guess. I don't know what we're expected to do. Are we like supposed to call a like representative line to Janus? How are we supposed to contact Janus?
So you've been given instructions to go to one of the casinos, and this is if you want to choose this option. Obviously, there are other options. But to go to the casino that they own and request an audience with Lucia Janus, to bring her this message, essentially.
Well, I guess if no one has any other Mission Impossible, Die Hard type like plans, I guess that's the better choice.
And in about 3,000 years, those movies will be made.
Herp nerp. Dan just is kind of like, yeah, negotiations, good start.
I vote Cyan be the head negotiator because he's good with people, says Dash.
Kind of like nod very gravely and solemnly agree to do so if that's what the group wishes.
I mean, I'm just saying. I suggest. I didn't say. I technically suggest, vote, advise. I'm not saying like you do this because I'm technically not your boss. You're just my group member. That I'm saying.
No,
I
but
know you can speak with people.
You what you said is true, and he's agreeing with it. So.
Okay, I thought it's like he thinks like I'm making him go out of his comfort zone for this or something.
No.
Yeah.
Cyan is a very humble person, so this is like he doesn't want to try and claim that he's better than anybody else at any particular thing, while acknowledging that he does have skill sets that are more suited for certain things.
Well, I guess I don't know the definition of solemn. Whoops. Anyway, yeah, I guess diplomacy, best choice this time.
What is the opinion of the other 3 members of the group?
Jax has been like listening to the conversation, and he's dealing with some issues in his mind. But as long as he thinks people aren't gonna try and screw over the Zul'Zan, them, he's just gonna go along with whatever.
Yeah, this is the like this was on. They're not right. They did kidnap somebody, right? Like that is a thing that they did, but this
Jax
is
gets that.
Yeah, this
Jax
is
gets
they
doing things outside the the straight and narrow. And having met them and seen how they acted and how they treated him, especially as he was one of the aggressors against them, could easily make an argument. So he's very much like they've earned his respect. So he just, as long as we're not going to actively go against them, he's not going to have an issue.
Yeah, and to be fair, this is exactly what they want, right? Like this is going with their desires. So, what about Mouse and Kin? Do you throw any opinions in here on this plan?
No. I mean, seems pretty straightforward to me.
I agree.
All right. So the plan, as I understand it, is to simply kind of go with what the Zul'Zan Alliance have suggested, where you are going to go meet with Lucia Janus, or at least a subordinate, right? Like at least somebody higher up in the Janus Corporation, to bring the terms of the deal to them. Not acting as a representative of the Zul'Zan, but acting as like a third-party negotiator, right? Because that was one of the big things, is you guys don't want to be involved with Zul'Zan. Like, you don't want to tie your name to them. Because really the goal here is to clear RK's name, right? Like, that's the goal that you all have. Secondarily, obviously, to get the best resolution to this conflict. Be it for I think most of the group, obviously especially Jax, to make it all in Zul'Zan Alliance's best interest. So, you break down the plan. So the plan, as you know it, is to go to the Janus Casino, which is located kind of in the heart of Coronet. It's kind of in the more residential skyscrapery, not Coruscant level, obviously, but there's a lot of traffic, a couple billion people probably that live just in the city itself, and so it's built up very high. So you are to go there, find a representative perhaps, to then request an audience with Lucia Janus, and bring the terms of the deal to them. So, overall, the plan seems very simple, and we should just get right into it, right?
Yep.
So, the group of you, are you going to, like, rent a speeder? Are you going to, like, call a automated taxi speeder to go drop you off there?
We have the money to rent a speeder.
Probably not.
It's whatever Star Wars Uber is.
Yeah, Star Wars Uber, exactly.
Yeah, Uber.
Wow, Jax likes public transport.
Yeah, it's basically what it is. In Coronet, like, that's the thing, is like public transport in any major city, basically anywhere in the galaxy, is free, right? Like, you don't have to pay for it. Because it's all operated by droids and they don't need payment, right?
Yeah, so I agree with transport, no Ubers.
Okay.
What is this? They're trying to take the money?
Yeah, so you hire the space taxi, and you know there's probably like a call center you dial into, right, on your comlink, or maybe in the HoloNet, right? Maybe you requisition a pickup. And speeder comes to you, and you all get in, you load into the speeder, and it takes off. And we see, as you guys are kind of cruising through Coronet, we see kind of the people moving about the city. It seems very busy. You know, it's a weekday, late afternoon, early evening timeline here. As you're traveling through the city, you can see like the lights are starting to turn on because it's starting to get a little bit darker now. So like the neon's starting to shine and flash, and the billboards with the signs, you know, the displays, bunch of, you know, holographic images for advertisements and whatever else. You probably fly past like a warning of like, be careful when going into the jungle. It is Bloodhawk mating season, right?
Too late.
Yeah. Everyone in Australia will get it, but they have the magpie season where they all literally like will get attacked by magpies wherever they go.
Somehow that seems less terrifying than
it's kind of the inspiration for Bloodhawks, I think.
I mean, do you know what goes on in Australia? Stuff in there will kill you. I swear.
It's very true. So you eventually, as night kind of begins to settle and the sun is like kind of dipping under the horizon, you get to a large kind of standalone building, and it's very brightly lit compared to the surrounding area. You can tell you've moved into like a more residential area. You can see like big tall skyscraper apartment buildings kind of on either side of you. Looks like maybe like a few like diners or restaurants kind of scattered about. But then this building in the center is very ostentatious, very bright, and shines, and almost like a beacon right on top of this building here. And it looks a little something like that.
Pretty.
So, you've arrived at the Janus Casino, your destination for your mission here. And as the speeder kind of pulls up to one of the landing pads and you all begin to disembark, you can hear the sound of slot machines and the sound of people talking and yelling and screaming, and you hear that like notorious like ding 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 ding, like the jackpot sound going off from inside. And you can see all kinds of advertisements like, you know, for this over the slot machines, and, you know, make sure you try this drink at the bar, and it's all very geared towards somebody who is coming here to have a good time, to spend some credits and remember the night, or not remember the night, but definitely have fun doing that. So overall, I think that you all find it's a pleasant atmosphere. It's cleaner probably than the rest of the city that you've been to. Everything seems to be like in its place. There's these beautiful like decorated like neon holographic trees, and down by them it probably has like little displays that say like, this is a representation of this species of plant on this planet, right? Like there's like a bunch of different cool like little factoids about, and you could spend like your entire night just kind of hanging out in the beautiful night air of Coronet.
Jax looks at Mouse and says, "Should we take a tour of the different plant life?"
Well, it's not. says that. Kind of like to the side. No, the thing Dash says is like, you know, I really want to know about plant life, Jax, but I think we had a very personal view of the nature for one lifetime.
Jax was very much joking. Jax was very much not serious.
Dash was joking as well.
So
I mean, as he says that, he kind of like says that joking about I'm pretty sure we got enough wildlife in nature for a lifetime.
yeah, and so as you get here as well, you can see that there are a lot of people also arriving that appear to like be in somewhat like fancy dress, right? Like a couple people who are kind of dressed to the nines, as you would call it, and you know, there's the typical like there's like a black speeder limo that pulls up, and like some service guy kind of opens the door, right, and steps out like this woman who's in like this very beautiful like ensemble of a dress, and she kind of like lays her hand out and escorts out this guy who she's brought along with her to the casino, and you can tell like he's like a dumb kid, right? He's just kind of like looking around, but he's pretty. That's probably why she brought him along.
Oh God.
And yeah, she like escorts him into the casino, and you know, we see like the party bus show up, right, with a bunch of like university, you know, from Corellia University, like old like maybe pilots, and Dash, you probably recognize like from the academy probably, that are all like dump out of the party bus, and they're all drunk already, and they're like, yeah, let's go spend some money in the casino, and everybody kind of goes in to the casino. So a whole multitude of people here, and all kinds of things to do and interact with. You'll also notice that the entryways into the actual casino, there are what appear to be bouncers. In fact, you see the same type of droid that were on the streets when you guys had that little skirmish with the Zul'Zan and Janice. Those same type of like security droids are standing at the entryways, and you can see they're obviously like evaluating the people that come in. So this is the part of the game where I ask you like what kind of weapons you brought with you. Obviously, like a pistol is not really going to be looked down upon because this is Star Wars. Everybody has a pistol, right?
Heavy pistol.
A heavy blaster pistol might raise some flags. They might ask you to check it in. A slug thrower rifle, for example, would probably not fly. This is the opportunity, though, where you could have left that back of the ship if you didn't want it, or you could always like, if you brought it, you could like check it in. They have a bailment for the casino, like, hey, you know, it's like a coat area, right? But it's really for your illegal weapons.
Does anyone have a heavy blaster pistol? I thought we all had normal blaster pistols.
I guess I would have.
Yeah.
I have a heavy blaster pistol.
Yeah, I think Dash acquired one.
I had to. I have to leave it.
Okay, so are you gonna bail it here, or are you going to have left it back in the ship? Okay. Cool.
I guess I'm going to bail it.
Yeah, and so you're gonna leave your slug thrower rifle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have both my pistols.
Okay. All right. So I think that as the group of you kind of like walk up, you're asked to show your weapons, right? Like you're asked to reveal your weapons so they can give an evaluation and tell you whether or not you have to bail it. Obviously when they get to, yeah, you flex. Do you like, like look at these guns?
Yeah.
I think the droid just goes next. And like you just like allows you to walk past without saying anything because he's a droid. He's not like Kin. He's pretty dumb actually.
I mean, Dash kind of like presents his kind of like a heavy blaster pistol, kind of like to show that he has it, not that he's hunting or something.
Yeah, and I think that the droid probably says, unfortunately, that weapon is not allowed inside of the floor area. If you could bail the item just over there, and kind of like points the direction, you can see there's like a service counter, and you can see there's probably there's a human like man who's kind of sitting, and you see he's like flipping through like a holo magazine with like his feet kicked up, just like waiting for somebody to come talk to him. And basically the droid's telling you have to go bail your item, right?
he says, "Well, I was about to go do that. Thanks." And he kind of like strolls over there as he kind of like puts it back in the holster, not just holding it, just like like someone would think like someone approaching someone while holding a blaster. That wouldn't be a good idea.
Would not be a good idea. You're correct. So he gets to you, Jax, and as he kind of like you submit your weapons for inspection, right?
So
just by like holding them out.
Here's my question though: Can Jax tell, like, are these just normal droids? Do they have scanners? Because genuinely, one of the reasons he carries two is he wants people to know about one and not about the other, and like his trench coat has the ability to help him. So I know it hasn't worked in the past, but like that's kind of
So there's the equivalent of a like metal detector, right? That you go through, like a scanner that you go through. But it could possibly be fooled if you wanted to try and fool it.
But like if do I go through it and then I'm like, oh yeah, here, and I show them the gun? Is that how it works?
Yeah. So really, they don't mind you bringing a pistol in. They just need to. All they're checking for is if it's like over a certain caliber, or if it has any like illegal modifications to it. Or if it's like a slug thrower rifle, which is like obviously meant for business, right? Like, everybody in Star Wars owns a blaster pistol of some sort, right? Like at least a holdout blaster, right? Like everybody basically owns one, and so like it's cool if you bring two. Maybe you're a little weird and eccentric, but they're probably not going to say much about it.
No, it's less about that and more about like he just doesn't like people knowing. It's
so you could definitely like attempt to conceal it. Like maybe when you go through the scanner, the droid like holds up a hand and says, "Please submit weapon for inspection." Right?
Yeah.
Are you gonna just pull out the one and show it to him?
I'll pull out the one and show it to him.
Right. Okay. So it goes over it, and then the droid probably says, "Do you have any other additional firearms on your body?"
Not wanting to cause a scene, I think Jax will just take out the other one, which is Max Blaster.
Yeah, so you take out
that as well.
Yeah, you take out Max Blaster, and I think the droid probably like you see him like look at it, and he's just like staring at it for a moment. And he goes, "Modifications within acceptable parameters. Welcome. Enjoy your time at Janus Casino. Next," and like waves the next person to come through. So obviously it doesn't recognize whatever you bring in there, Zian. I mean, you may just like do the like cloak to the side. Obviously it detects it as like metal, but it doesn't recognize it as whatever it is. It's probably not been trained to recognize that.
Probably not. It doesn't have any active electronic circuits in it either, I don't think, right now.
Yeah, correct. It doesn't have any power, right? Even if it did.
Right.
So yeah, it doesn't have any. You're good. That's what I'm saying. Kin, you come through, and they do like if the droid probably asks for your designation and purpose.
Okay, yeah.
The hunt and kill Jedi.
Designation K1 and then bodyguard droid. And I point to mouse.
Yeah, you point to mouse. Okay, cool. Yeah, and the droid just nods, and it doesn't say anything. It just nods at you and.
I want to say that mouse is flexing for like the check-in guy, the guy that you
like right at that moment. Yeah, mouse is just like flexing for the check-in guy, and the droid probably like looks. It does the thing where it like looks around Kin's body to the side, and then comes back around and says, "I see. Good luck." And like next brings the next one in, which is probably mouse. Obviously, mouse, you don't have anything of ill repute on you, right?
No.
So you're kind of just flagged through.
Actually, let me check.
Yeah, maybe check the character sheet just in case. So while you're doing that, I think Dash, we see you. You get over to like the counter, right?
Before we do that.
Does a custom toolkit count as something that would be of ill repute?
A custom what? Toolkit?
Toolkit, yeah.
You know, they probably don't say anything about it, but they do make you take it out and like show it to make sure there's nothing like so that you don't have, because the big thing about like somebody bringing in a toolkit to the casino, right, would be that they're going to try and rig the machines.
Yeah, that's
right?
what I was thinking.
So I think that they inspect it over just to kind of get an estimation of like what the tools are, and they probably like record the facts in their droid logs, right? That like, you know, you brought a custom toolkit in, okay, yeah, just in case we have any like weird issues with the, you know, with the stuff later, maybe we can come try and find you and be like, hey, have you been over here lately? But they wouldn't stop you from coming in, probably because they get probably like a lot of blue collar like mechanics and stuff that want to come have a few drinks and play a few slots after their shifts.
I just wanted to make sure because I didn't. It's kind of one of those situations.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It definitely, like, if something happens and that can be linked back to the cause, then maybe you'll have some questions. But coming in the door won't be a problem.
All right.
Jax, you said there was something you wanted to do or something was going on?
Yeah. Seeing Jax will have noticed that Dash had to check his blaster.
Right.
And just he'll kind of go up to him and he'll just slip him his spare blast and say, like, just in case, like, until we get out of here.
Yeah. But the interaction when you get up to the counter, there's a guy sitting behind there with his feet kicked up, and he kind of like lazily, his eyes are kind of like half closed, and he kind of like lazily looks over at you, Dash, and he's chewing gum, and he like blows a bubble like right as you come up and just like pops, and then he like pulls it back into his mouth and continues chewing. And when he does that, you can see that when he like pulls it back in with his teeth. Actually, roll a perception check. I want to see if you can see this. It's gonna be. Let me set up the roll for you. It is going to be an average check.
And what was the extra pistol? Can I technically hide it, or?
No, I'm not worried about that right now. I want to see if you notice something about this guy.
No, Jax gave me a.
But not yet. Don't worry about that yet. He was ahead of his schedule.
Okay.
Yeah. Just roll a perception check.
Hold up. Oh, there it is.
Yeah. Okay. So take one strain, probably just from like annoyance, right? This guy like doesn't like you're prior military, right? Like everything needs to be kind of like in order, and this guy is like lazy. You can just tell already, and you're just like, ugh, this is gonna be a pain. So take one strain. But you do succeed, and you see that he has his teeth and gums appear to be slightly discolored, which wouldn't necessarily be like out of the ordinary, but it is out of the ordinary for where you are right now. Like in this part of town, it's people typically have good hygiene. They typically are, you know, very clean, especially inside of like the casino, and especially working for the casino. It's pretty rare to see like a slovenly person. So you take note of that as you walk up, and he's just like, yeah, checking it in.
I mean, he can't. He starts by. Hold up, damn it. Anyway, he basically like states what he's checking in. He's checking in a plastic deal for a model heavy blaster pistol.
Yeah.
And just like puts it on the table.
Yeah, he probably and, just like.
No, before that, he kind of like takes out the battery pack and lays it kind of like in a way that disarms it.
Totally. Yeah, and you see him like he's like, all right, and he like reaches down and pulls out like a piece of paper, like some paperwork for you to fill out. And you know, it's basically just saying, this is what I'm turning in, this is my name, and then when you slide it back to him, he hands you like a ticket number. Your ticket number is 077, by the way.
Oh. Okay.
That's your ticket number that he hands you. So like it's the 77th item that's been checked in today, basically. And you see he kind of like picks up the blaster kind of lazily and just kind of like tosses it into a box next to him after putting like a tag around the around the blaster muzzle or whatever to tag it as 077. And he just kind of like tosses it in the box. And you can see like he takes the paperwork that you filled out and kind of just like shoves it in a folder down by his feet. And after that, he's done interacting with you. He doesn't care about you anymore, and just kind of like goes back to like flipping through his holo magazine, and he pops a gum again and begins chewing.
And he kind of like he says as he's leaving, he kind of like says as a sign coming over his shoulder, "Careful not to break one of them. Might cost you."
Yeah, I think he just ignores you. He just probably goes, uh-huh, and like continues chewing gum and looking at his magazine.
Well, shows what Genesis standards are.
Yeah.
Anyway, he goes back and afterwards I get handed an extra blaster. What is that about?
Yeah, so Jax, you give him the regular blaster pistol, right?
Yeah. So basically, Dash, because I saw you check your blaster, and just in case something were to happen, I think two people with guns is better than one person with 2 guns. So I just lend you one of my regular blaster, just in case.
He nods and puts it in the holster. It's not really the same size because mine is a heavy, so it's kind of bigger. So it kind of like sits awkward, but it's still there. So
at least you're not unarmed, right?
Yep.
Cool. Awesome. So the group of you proceed into the heart of the Janus Casino, where you can see, hear, feel, and smell a lot more of those typical sights and sounds that I was describing earlier. The slot machines feel like they're right in your ear, and there's probably like a good couple hundred people already kind of filling the main level floor. There is like you see there's some like curved staircases that lead up to like an upper level where you can see like people playing card games. Most of the main level is slot machines. You can see there's like a few dice tables, but all kinds of different casino games, Star Wars-esque casino games that you can imagine exist here. And then you can see that also there is a in the big center, like hanging over the rest of the casino area, there's like a VIP area that you can see, like there's little walkways that lead out from the second levels to those areas. And you can see there's a couple people over there just kind of like leaning down, like leaning on the railing, like looking down on their inferiors, obviously, because that's what people do when you get VIP rooms that are elevated above the rest of the location. And in addition, I think that you guys see that same woman that came out of that limo is actually up there, and she's just kind of like gazing down, like kind of looking around. And notably, you normally wouldn't like look at somebody twice, but she like catches your eye again, for whoever she would catch the eye of. But it kind of makes sense though, right? Like she came in a limo, she's probably a VIP. But you also know like the VIP areas are not cheap at all. You know, you're dropping a couple thousand credits just to get a seat before you actually buy or pay for anything up in the VIP area.
She Victoria or whatever her name was.
Lucia Janus.
She is not Lucia Janus.
She's not?
No. She's not Lucia Janus. She's just a different person.
Oh, she's the girl with the
the woman
Never
in like
mind.
the woman that came in and like her dress is probably like yellowish with a slash of orange. It's basically like a cocktail dress, right? Comes down to maybe like just above her knees.
The PC that we saw get out of the character that we saw get out of the limo that had the amulet, wasn't that Lucia Janus?
No, this is a different you haven't seen Lucia yet.
Oh, okay.
Since you've been here, at least.
But this
is her, not Lucia, but her.
No, this is someone completely different. This is a brand new person you've never met before.
Oh, brand new person. Okay.
Yeah, it's the same girl that got out. That's what I was saying. It's the same girl that got out of that limo when you guys arrived initially. Right? It's the same girl that got out of the limo when you guys arrived initially.
At the casino, you mean?
At the casino, yes.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant in Corellia.
Nope. I never said that at all.
We are still in Corellia.
Yeah, you're still in Coronet,
Technically.
but I was just
No, but
describing
when
the
we-
same woman
When we
that
had
you
our
just saw
first-
get out of the limo.
Yeah, when we had our first kerfuffle way back when at the bar, there was a woman who got out of a limo who we got introduced to.
Oh no, she's too important. She didn't even get out of her limo. You're lucky she
Uh-huh.
rolled the window
I
down.
think we mistook the limo for the limo because
Yes.
he did say a older woman took a younger man, and I can I state cougar or no? Sorry, never mind.
It's probably hard to actually pin down her age. She looks anywhere between early 20s to early 30s. Obviously it's a little bit different, you know, she's done up for the night, right? So it's always a little harder to tell anyone's age when they're kind of, you know, dressed up and probably have makeup on and, you know, they're purposely trying to look good. It's a little bit harder probably to tell what her age is.
Yeah, so basically it's someone we saw this night, not
Yeah.
the first time.
Yeah, the
bailed
woman you
out,
literally
our
just
day.
saw like 20 minutes ago get out of the limo. Yes.
Yeah, I think the description kind of like made
Trust
us
me
be confused
when I
because-
say I would have told you it was Lucia Janis if you saw Lucia Janis getting out of a limo.
Yeah, you're right.
That would have been a very big deal. This was just some random woman that I literally created 5 minutes ago. But now I have a whole backstory for her because that's how my brain works.
You're
So that was my
underlying
mistake.
her.
So, you're inside now, and is the next step simply to just try and go complete the mission? Is it to get a feel for the area first? Obviously, you guys could blend in, right? In this moment, you could play some slots, you could do all that kind of stuff. It doesn't really matter. It's up to
I
you.
guess
What's
I'll get a drink, maybe. I don't know. That's the best thing I could blend in with. I'm not wasting my money.
Yeah, you could absolutely go get a drink if you wanted to get a drink. Yeah. So what about everybody else? Is it kind of a business only trip?
It is for me.
Okay.
Yeah, Jax is considering this like on mission, so he's gonna be quite focused.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Mouse is quotation marks focused.
Yeah, I would say that it's for someone who isn't used to being kind of flooded with sensory overload, like Mouse probably is not used to that. It's probably a little overwhelming to be in this place.
Yeah.
The sights, smells, sounds are probably invading your senses in a very hectic way. So maybe you're a little uncomfortable in this situation, Mouse. Zian too. Maybe you're a little uncomfortable being surrounded by this much, because it's not only humans. There's a mixture of aliens, probably some Duros, probably some Aqualish. You know, there's a smattering of alien life. It's mostly human, but a smattering of aliens kind of throughout the casino. So I think that
What are the
what's up?
What are the chances that there's someone there who potentially Jax could have known from the days when, like, that he would recognize from when he used to come through Corellia when working for the Syndicate?
I would say that, you know, I think we made a roll before and you didn't know who Janice was, but I mean, this is the type of place that those contacts would probably hang out at some point.
I'm wondering if it's worth me making a check for that.
It might be indeed. How about we do that after our break?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, so let's go ahead and take our break here. We will be back at let's say 10 after for more Star Wars.
Yeah.
And then we'll go request an audience with a powerful crime lord. We'll see what happens.
Yay.
Yeah, yay. Okay, we'll see everybody in a few minutes.
Break time. Hooray.
Alright, guys, we're going to take a quick little break here. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Hope y'all are enjoying your time. Stay tuned.